I am fascinated by the coaching carousel, and I love to watch coaches rise and fall in the college football ranks. Miami football was in a tough spot at the turn of the decade, and up-and-coming head coach Al Golden was supposed to bring the Miami Hurricanes back to relevance and save the Canes. He was supposed to be the savior of Miami football, but that didn't exactly happen, and many say he was nothing but a failure during his tenure. Today we're going to talk about the rise and fall of Al Golden, his time at Miami, and why he ultimately failed to succeed. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and also if you're a returning subscriber, check out my basketball channel. I'll leave a link down in the comment section. If you want to support the video, please be sure to hit that like button and let me know your thoughts, suggest another topic or coach I should take a look at next, and turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload. Now let's go ahead and get started and talk about the rise and fall of Al Golden. Believe it or not, Golden's playing career started at Penn State, where he was a tight end under legendary head coach Joe Paterno. While there, he was a three-time Letterman, helped them to a Fiesta Bowl win, and won the Ridge Riley Award, an award given to a player who displays excellence in sportsmanship, leadership, friendship, and scholarship. He was a captain his senior year and went down as a fan favorite. From there, he spent one season as a tight end for the New England Patriots, but he was only there for the 1992 season, and just like that, his playing career was over. After one season in the NFL, he decided to join the coaching world, and his first step was to join the staff at Red Bank Catholic High School back in New Jersey. After 1 year there, he spent 2 years as a graduate assistant at Virginia, where he worked with linebackers and with the special teams. From there, he spent 2 years at Boston College before he returned to his alma mater and coached linebackers at Penn State. After that, he returned back to Virginia to take on the defensive coordinator duties and was really good at his job. Because of his success, he was named the head coach at Temple in 2005 and was the second youngest behind Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern. Temple football was in an absolutely horrible spot as they had gone 3-31 the past 3 years prior to Golden's arrival, and they were so bad that they were kicked out of the Big East and sent to the MAC. I honestly had no idea Temple football was that bad, but Al was the man to turn things around. Things didn't exactly go perfect during his first 3 years, though. The Owls went 1-11 in 2006, 4-8 in 2007, and 5-7 in 2008, which was the best record since 1990. Going into the 2009 season, Golden was headed for his fourth year at the program and had an up-and-coming offensive coordinator by the name of Matt Rule. Led by star running back Bernard Pierce, the Owls ended up going 9-3 and would win the MAC Eastern Division along the way. They played UCLA in the Eagle Bank Bowl, and after leading for 3 quarters, they blew the lead and lost. After the season, Golden was interviewed for the Cincinnati job, the Tennessee job, and the UCLA job, but he ultimately decided to sign an extension through 2014 with the Owls. He led them to an 8-4 record in 2010 and had an up-and-coming star Rod Streeter on the team. After the season, Golden was a hot commodity and would take the job at Miami to restore the program. Going into the 2011 season, the Hurricanes had a ton of talent as they returned quarterback Ja'Cory Harris, running backs Lamar Miller and Mike James, plus wide receivers Allen Hurns, Travis Benjamin, and Phil Dorsett. Unfortunately, the Canes would have to open up the season without 7 starters, as the team was hit with suspensions following an NCAA investigation. The first game was on the road against Maryland, and Al Golden lost his first game at the helm. With most of the kids coming back for the next week, the Canes were set up for a huge game against Ohio State. In his first career home game, he won and they upset the Buckeyes. The problem was consistency though, as they would win a game, then lose a game, then win another one. Besides the Ohio State win, the Canes' biggest win of the year was at home against number 22 Georgia Tech. The Canes finished the season at 6-6, but they very well could have gone undefeated. All 6 losses came by less than 1 possession, and they found themselves unable to win a lot of their close games. Because of their NCAA issues, the Hurricanes weren't allowed to play in a bowl game. For what Golden was handed though, he did a really good job in his first year. Going into 2012, the Canes would have to reload and restructure their teams, as Stephen Morris was now the quarterback. Mike James and Duke Johnson were the running backs, and Phil Dorsett, Herb Waters, and Rashawn Scott were the wideouts. They began the year with a win over Boston College, but they fell to Kansas State for the second straight year. From there, they won their next 3 games over Bethune-Cookman, Georgia Tech, and NC State to climb to 4-1, but right when things began to look up, they got killed by Notre Dame and lost to both North Carolina and Florida State to continue their 3-game losing streak. They did finish the year at 3-1 though and went 7-5. Once again, they didn't reach a bowl because of a self-imposed postseason ban, so Al got screwed back-to-back years in that regard. Just like last year, the majority of their losses came by way of a close game, so it seemed like they just couldn't put it all together at the end of games. Despite that narrative, Miami was still winning games and trending up, so everything was fine for Al Golden at the moment. Going into 2013, the Canes were once again led by Stephen Morris at quarterback, Duke Johnson became a star running back, and Allen Hurns blossomed into the main wide receiver. The 2013 season looked like it was going to be a big year, and it definitely started out that way. They began the season with a huge win over number 12 Florida, and then followed it up with wins over USF, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, and Wake Forest, and the Canes jumped all the way up to number 7 in the country for a huge matchup with number 3 Florida State. College game day came to Tallahassee, and the winner would stay in the national title hunt. Unfortunately, Miami just wasn't ready for a moment like this, as they got blown out by Jameis Winston and the Noles. From there, they lost to Virginia Tech the following week, and then lost to Duke in a battle for the ACC Coastal Division. Miami won their last few games against Virginia and Pittsburgh, but the loss to Duke put them in second place. The Blue Devils had one of their best years in school history, and I remember being really happy for them. They ended up playing Teddy Bridgewater in Louisville in the Russell Athletic Bowl, and they finished the year with a 9-4 record. This time, the team won 9 games, but they got blown out in all 4 of their losses, and they started losing right when things mattered most. I really can't find if he was on the hot seat after the 2013 season, but people were wondering if Golden was ever going to take the Canes to the next level, I bet. Going into 2014, expectations were really high for both Golden and the program. He had a team full of his kids, and they had improved each of the past 3 years. The team was ultra talented, as they went on to have 7 players drafted in the NFL, but they're going to have to find a new quarterback after Morris had finally graduated. The battle came down to true freshman Brad Kaaya and Jake Heaps, and the true freshman would win the job. Kaaya was the quarterback, Duke Johnson was the running back, and Phil Dorsett became the wide receiver star. The Canes were picked to win the ACC Coastal Division, and some thought they could do even better than that. Sadly, the dream was probably over after week 1 as they lost to Louisville in blowout fashion. They beat up on Florida A&M and Arkansas their next 2 games before they lost on the road to number 24 Nebraska. The Canes were 2-2 and desperately needed for something to turn their team around. They bounced back with a win over Duke the next week, but then fell to the eventual Coastal winner, Georgia Tech. From there, they beat Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, and North Carolina to climb to 6-3, and they were saving their season. I wish I could say they continued that streak, but they didn't. They fell hard. They played number 2 Florida State in an absolute thriller, but they lose the game in heartbreaking fashion. They then lost to Virginia and Pittsburgh to end the year, and they finished with a 6-6 record. They got a bid to play in the Independence Bowl versus South Carolina, and they lose a close game to the Gamecocks. Miami finished the year at 6-7, and this would really heat up the seat for Al Golden. The team had 7 players drafted, so clearly they didn't lack talent, plus the Coastal Division was weak that year, so 6 wins was embarrassing. Going into 2015, Kaaya was back at quarterback, Joe Yearby was the running back, and Stacy Coley, Rashawn Scott, and Herb Waters were the wide receivers. They began the season with wins over Bethune-Cookman and Florida Atlantic before a critical game against Nebraska. They beat the Huskers in a good game and then had a road game versus Cincinnati. They'd lose to the Bearcats, and the fire Golden chance had begun. Miami fans called for his immediate firing, and even Florida State fans decided to start a GoFundMe for Miami to keep him around. How generous of them. Once again, Miami lost a close game to Florida State the following week, but the Clemson game was the last straw for Golden. The Hurricanes lost 58-0, and that was it. It was the biggest loss in school history, and they had enough of it. He was fired that weekend, and Larry Scott was named the interim head coach. Their fortune immediately changed, and Miami would actually finish the regular season at 8-4. They lost in the Sun Bowl to Washington State, but the season was saved by the new guy. Golden spent the rest of the 2015 season with his family in New Jersey before he returned to the coaching ranks. In 2016, he joined the Detroit Lions as a tight ends coach, and he was in that position for a year. Eventually, he became the team's linebackers coach, and he was on the staff until 2019 before he was fired. Recently, Al was given another coaching chance as he was the linebackers coach for the Bengals going into the 2020 season. Golden has found his place in the NFL, but why exactly did he fail at Miami? Well, obviously, Al had a ton of talent while he was at Miami, and I guess he just didn't know how to use it. He took some teams at Temple that weren't very talented at all and made them good, but doing it at a premier school is a much different monster. Golden could have never seemingly won those big games, and those heartbreaking losses to the rival Florida State definitely did not help him in the eyes of the fan base. The Canes lost 14 games by double digits while he was there, and the team never seemingly put things together when it mattered most, and he also suffered the worst loss in school history. Finally, in 5 years, the Canes never took that next step, and the brand image of the U had become stained under his name. Based off his results, I agree with Miami's decision to fire him, but besides 1 year under Mark Richt, the Canes really haven't been legit title contenders, and they're now trying to establish a new identity under Manny Diaz. Overall, Al Golden was a really solid football coach, and he should have a statue built for what he did at Temple and what he helped establish there, but he was never a guy to lead a team to a national title and a conference championship game, which is what he was brought in to do at Miami. He could never win those big games, he wasted a lot of talent, and some say the major reason why he failed because he would never fire his buddy Mark D'Onofrio, who was a terrible defensive coordinator, and he definitely stained Golden's image. He just couldn't live up to Miami standards and went backwards in 2015. But what do you guys think? Why do you think Al Golden failed? And do you think Miami football will ever get back to what they used to be? Be sure to let me know another coach or topic I should do next down in the comment section. Give the video and support the channel with a like. Subscribe if you have not already. Check out my basketball channel, and if you're still here on the end screen, check out my video about what happened to Brad Kaaya. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.